Live interview with DJ Kinetic. Yo, what's up, Yaya? I have an interview now with a guy called Kinetic. Another installation of my interviews, with my people who are DJs, and we discuss, issues, good and bad. It's actually the afternoon. It's not. It's not morning anymore. It's 1 o'clock. So you've been sleeping, yeah. Wake up. It's time to seize the day. However many hours are left. Yeah. So we here. You're only having breakfast now. Wow. But I mean, it's allowed. We've all lost the sense of time, I guess, ever since the lockdown started. So, yeah, I mean, it's crazy. How are you holding up? Are you surviving the lockdown? Are you surviving, the quarantine? Are you getting any work done? How is business? It's crazy, man, what's happening right now. But also, there's an opportunity for us to work because there's always a silver lining, I guess. Anyway, I'm waiting for DJ Kinetic to join the live stream so that we can have the interview and see what's up. Oh, hey, Trudy. Trudy's here also. Trudy, yo, I know I owe you a phone call, but yeah, we shall talk about that. Here's Kinetic. And I'm also good, yeah. So you're used to this. Hey, Kinetic,
How's it, man?
I'm good. How are you? I was just talking to Yaya about the lockdown.
Oh, yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, yeah, no.
How's everyone?
So yeah, man.
See,
Are,
see
are you
people
at
are
work
joining
today?
in. How's everyone? Eh?
Are you at work or are you at home?
No, I'm actually at home. I'm actually home. I'm working from home today.
Okay, that's dope, man. That
Yeah,
is dope. So yeah, for those who don't know, I have these. I try to keep them daily. Interviews with some of my favorite DJs during the
yeah,
lockdown, so that we can just catch up. About
yeah, yeah.
what everybody's been up to. So today my guest is Kinetic SA, DJ Kinetic. I don't know how you call yourself. Is
I,
that
I,
right?
I actually dropped the DJ a while ago.
So, so it's just Kinetic.
It's just kinetic. Yeah, there was a method to the madness.
When you search Kinetic on music streaming sites, a lot of things pop up, man. A lot of bands.
Yes, yes, yes. That's very true. When I got this name, I got it years ago, or rather, I came across it years ago when I was still in high school. And I had no idea that, so many people had caught onto the name. But I just felt like for me, it resonated with me. Even how I got the name, um, it happened in a funny way. It was in physics class, and they were discussing kinetic energy. And I can't remember who it was, but one of my friends said to me, when they were explaining how it's the energy around an object when it's moving. And he says, "Oh, so you're the kinetic energy when you're playing your music." I was like, "Oh, okay, that's that's a pretty dope name. I can run with that, you know."
Yeah.
Because I think the name I had for myself at the time, uh, very funny name. I was calling myself DJ Little T, and I kept thinking
Little
to myself, what's gonna happen when I grow up? Am I gonna be DJ Big T?
DJ
You
Lil
know?
T. Wow.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. So Kinetic. That's when a DJ has a name like this, man, I always think like this guy is a super nerd. Would you say you're a nerd?
Not really. I wouldn't think of myself as a nerd, eh? I really wouldn't. I don't know. What constitutes a nerd? You know?
A guy that Big Bang. A nerd. I think Big Bang Theory explained to everybody around the globe what a nerd is. People that
Yeah,
are into
okay.
comic books, super smart
I feel you.
intellects. They know
I
about
feel
the
you.
Comic
I feel you.
Con.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying I wouldn't consider myself a nerd because I know as much as everyone knows about comics, and uh, I'm a Marvel fan like everyone else who watches things like Spider-Man and Superman. But it doesn't go further than that, trust me.
Yeah, man. And your real name is Thabo, ne?
Yes, yes, real name. Hence the DJ Little T.
And where are you from? Where did you grow up?
Well, I grew up in Davidson, in the East Rand. However, I moved in 2002 to Pretoria. That's why most of the time you'll always hear me rapping both hoods. I'll always say uh, because both places played a very integral role in um, or rather influenced me. When it came to music, when it came to, getting into DJing, both these places played a very big role. So yeah, I moved to Pretoria in 2002 to live in Mabopane, just outside of Pretoria, actually. So yeah,
Mhm.
I'm a Pretoria boy slash Eastern beast from the East, as they like to
Okay.
say.
That's dope, man. That you come from the both sides of music because the East they're
Yeah,
very strong with hip hop and
yeah,
Pitori they're strong with house. So that's
yeah.
quite interesting. Yeah, yeah, is saying what is a real name? Ah, yeah, yeah. You wanna be deep at 1 o'clock.
Yeah. What is a real name? I see you there. The
Yeah,
government
but
name,
yeah, man.
the engine number.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. A real name is the name that's on your ID book, the one that your parents gave you. That
Yeah.
is that is the real one. So look, man. The first time I heard of you was years ago, bro. I don't even remember how we met, but I remember you dropped a single, two songs actually. It was when Facebook was popping. Uh,
Oh,
Poke Brand.
yes.
You don't even remember your own
Yes,
songs. It was
yes.
Poke Brand and studying and the quality. I just heard the song. I was like, yo, this young producer dude is dropping some fire quality music, man. So just tell me a bit
Yeah.
about how that journey began of you, dropping music and all that.
This was in 2000 and, if I'm not mistaken, 2013, going on
Yeah,
14. How I actually
yeah.
got introduced to you is through Skipani. Some friends of mine who are they make hip hop. Shout out to Exceed and Lorian Authentic from Rustenburg. They actually
Oh
forwarded
yes,
me your details. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And they were like, look,
yeah.
get in touch with this guy, see if you can't get yourself an interview on Skipani. You know, that's how it started. And I
Yes.
had just released an EP with Soul Candy. It was the No Strings Attached EP that I did with Also T, very talented vocalist. And I sent you the link to the tracks, and I remember you just like was so blown away by Poke Me Back, which which I found so weird. I think at the time, didn't DJ Cleo have a song called Facebook? I think as well at the time.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
he
so
did.
I think a lot of guys were writing a lot of the love songs were surrounding like social media because it was
Social
just when
media.
it was
That's interesting.
starting to boom. And I think we still
Yes.
had the poke button on Facebook. So also T
Is it,
was
is it,
was
is
was
it not
was
there anymore?
was obviously, hey,
Is it not there anymore? The poke back
the poke
button on
button.
Facebook. Is it gone?
I haven't seen it. I actually haven't seen it in a while. I don't know, guys. If you've seen the poke button on Facebook, poke me there.
But anyway, continue, bro. Continue.
Yeah. So yeah, I sent you a link to the tracks. I just released it, the EP with Soul Candy at the time. And yeah, this was around 2013. And that's how we came to get introduced to each other. And since then, we've stayed in contact, stayed in touch with everything that I've been doing, over the years. Yeah.
And you just reminded me of a crazy time when a lot of house people released music that referenced social media, like Liquid Deep, BBM,
Yes.
DJ
Yes.
Clio, Facebook, and you would Poke Me Back. That was crazy,
Yeah.
man.
It unfortunately never caught on like I thought it would. Because when we went and recorded the song, so what I did was I sent him the beat. And I think he sat with the beat for over a year before we even recorded. I remember I was still studying at the time. I was still studying at the Academy of Sound Engineering when I made that song. And I sent him the beat.
Mm.
It took a year for us to actually get into studio to record. I remember the day we actually found a studio to record. And he was like, okay, cool. I'm going to start. I played the beat and he starts singing. But then when he gets to the hook, I paused for a bit. I looked at it. I'm like, wait, did he just say poke me back? And I thought to myself, when you think to yourself, what are people actually going to say about this? Like, I don't know how to feel about it. However, we continued because I was just like, okay, look, he's in a space where he's feeling very creative, and I mean, it was sounding good. So, so I let him do his thing, and I started playing the song for people. I was quite surprised at the reaction. People actually loved the song. And for it to actually get licensed by Soul Candy for me was just like, wow, okay, clearly we're doing something right, you know?
Yeah. Um,
Yeah.
there's a question: are these tracks you talking about on Apple Music or any other streaming services?
It should be. If you look for, I think the Soul Candy catalog is still there. On iTunes, on Spotify, I think Google Play Music as well. It should be there. So if you search for Kinetic, No Strings Attached, I know it was also put on a compilation called Africa to Africa, which has various other artists on it. So yeah, you can definitely check it out.
So what happened? What happened with your relationship with Soul Candy, man? Actually, what happens? It's a two-part question. What happened to Soul Candy, and what happened to your agreement with Soul Candy?
Uh, well, look, the agreement was that we were going. I was just licensing a three-track EP with them. Uh, at the time, uh, what's his name? Kid Funk was the head of A&R at Soul Candy. So the agreement was just to license the EP. Obviously, they were keen on any other music that I'd want to release. However, I think at the time when I was ready to release again, that is when Soul Candy had decided to close its doors, as a label. I know they're around. I think they're doing publishing. I'm not too sure. Don't quote me on this. But yeah, they decided to close the label itself. So yeah, I think that's that with the relationship with Soul Candy.
Lic- what does licensing? What does a licensing agreement entail, bro? Like exactly.
Yeah, for people who don't know, basically licensing is when you agree to give the masters of your music to a particular. It can be a publisher or a label. Some publishers are labels, or labels have publishers within their structure. And basically, what happens is they take your music and plug it on your behalf. They release it on all platforms. They basically put your music out there. They distribute for you, and then they collect said on your behalf. Yeah, that's what
Mm.
a licensing deal entails.
Okay, interesting stuff, dog. So
Yeah.
yeah, man, you according to my knowledge, you dropped tracks and then you kind of like went quiet for a while. What have you been up to, man? Like
Yeah.
since that EP dropped?
Life happened.
Yeah.
So after that EP, I was in between jobs. So like I said, I studied sound engineering, right? But my first job was not in sound, or in engineering rather. So I worked for a media monitoring company. I worked there for about 2 years, and then moved to a TV station. Um, I worked there for a few months, and then I realized, okay, the environment was just not for me. I then moved to a radio station where I currently am. And since then, like a lot has been happening. I think ever since moving to YFM, it has really done a lot for me. Even though when I moved there, my capacity was not as a DJ. It was through my profession as a sound engineer. However, the environment, being the environment that it is, it's allowing, for people who have multiple skills and are able to show that they can balance their job, as well as, other things. So what happened was I got there, um, and I went in a junior position, worked there since 2014, worked my way up to where I am now, in a management position. And I think, the biggest thing was being able to balance the actual work that I do there, with the passion that I have, which is being a DJ, being a producer.
Mm.
So yeah, I've managed to release some music along the way. Obviously, with having a job, as you would know, it doesn't give you much leeway to basically put 100% into the music, into uh, pushing the music and putting it out there. So a lot of music is out there. I've put out a lot of EPs and stuff, and singles and free releases, etc. I've done some remixes. However, I didn't really put a lot of effort into letting people know what I was actually doing. you know.
Mm.
So yeah.
Yeah, man. And I know you did a remix for um, the Crooks song. Is it
Yeah,
Magic, ne?
yeah, I work with him a lot.
Yeah, and
Yes,
yeah,
yes, Magic.
that,
Yeah.
that song is crazy, man. I even said to him like, look, dude, you need to remix my songs also, bro. So, what
Yeah,
are some of the tracks that you've remixed that you're proud of?
I think Magic stands out because you know what I like about that song was, and I work with the Crook a lot with regards to production. And what I like about that song is that he actually challenged me. He came to me and said, "Listen, I'm putting together an EP with remixes, rather remix package, and I want you to do something different, something that no one else expects you or us to do." Because he had Lemon and Herb as well as Mr. Joe on the remixes and Infinite Boys. So he said to me, "Why not do something that's got a bassa samba kind of feel that
Mm.
people can enjoy all over the world? You know, like a feel good song, a feel good type of vibe." And I think that kind of brief is what challenged me to come up with a remix like that. It's very different. Um, it's not for everyone. I don't know. That's what I think,
Yeah,
but it's very
yeah.
different. It's very different. It's got a very it's very percussive, but very musical at the same time because if you want to go that route, if you want to go the bassa, the samba kind of route, you have to understand that you need to make it musical. So yeah, that's one of the remixes that I feel I'm very proud of. Yeah. And
Okay.
I've done another one for him, which should be coming very soon. I'm not sure when he's going to drop it, but yeah, there's another remix that I did for him. Yeah.
Oh, that's dope, man. Ente is enjoying the interview. Thanks, Ente. That's real Shanda Power. Uh,
Thanks,
you
Cynthia.
know, like you drop music, bro, and then like we hear it and then it's gone. And I'm like, there's a song, man, and then the name is just it has that vocalist with that high pitch. You dropped it. I think about 2 years ago. Uh, I just can't remember the name now, and I was listening to it earlier. But anyway, it's fine. I was just gonna give you props that like I enjoy your drops, bro. I
Mm,
just wish I could hear it more. But that's
yeah,
like
yeah,
I guess a radio situation. In your
yeah, yeah,
opinions, man, what do you think is the next wave for house music? Because now we see Mapiano is taking over. As a producer
yeah.
yourself, where do you see the trend going?
Well, look, music in its entirety will always find a way to evolve. Um, And I think that music is heading to a space where you won't be able to box it anymore. You won't be able to say, this is house, this is, you know what I mean? Because people, or rather producers, are experimenting more, you know? You getting people rapping on beats that sound housey, but you know what I mean? But they've got a flow on it. So music is literally heading where it's not boxed anymore. People just want to express their creativity, and I think that if you're an open-minded person, which I believe a lot of us are, um, you'd be able to adapt, and find your own niche as a producer. But literally, music is not going to be boxed anymore, guys. We're no longer going to have, this is just house, or this is just hip hop, or this is just R&B, because you're getting all sorts of sounds from all over the world. There's different kinds of lo-fi, trip hop, and all those elements are derived from like everything, from house, from drum and bass, from trap, etc. Like the list is endless, man. and every producer's just finding their own niche. I just feel like people need to be more accepting of music.
Mm,
um, Mainstream media needs to be more accepting of music,
mm,
um, of different kinds of music, and not box everything.
sure.
I think we need to move away from boxing things, you know.
Right now in South Africa, we have so many talented local producers, man, that are producing world
Definitely,
class
definitely. Yeah,
music.
yeah.
What are some of your favorite guys, except yourself?
No, trust me, I'm not that vain.
Yeah.
um, Yo, there's a lot, eh? FKA Mash. Um, there's there's so many to mention. I really don't want to leave anyone behind, but definitely FKA stands out. Um, Radio Lab. Hey, I see. There you are. This guy is actually gonna come up with some new heat. I'm looking forward to it. Um, there's quite a few. Avi Suban, and these are a lot of the underground guys. Kiggs Bantam. There's a lot of guys that are just coming up with the kind of sound that I gravitate more towards. And I think that in due time people will start to see traction in what they're doing, um, especially because of what I'm saying, in the sense that music is not going to be boxed anymore.
Mm,
You listen to what FKA is doing. I don't know, man. It's just different. It's got
mm.
an Afro vibe. It's deep. It's got a tech vibe and electronic. It's just a mashup of sounds, but it just sounds amazing. And that's definitely where music is going. So there's just too many to mention, man. Because I collect music religiously. So I come across new
Mm.
artists all the time, all the time. So yeah, there's just a lot to mention, and most of them are local.
Okay, that's crazy. You keep saying there's a lot to mention, but you just mentioned Radio Lab and FKA Mesh, which is interesting. But I hear you. I hear you. No pressure. And shout out to Radio Lab. I can't wait to hear his stuff. Um, you know, I'm always trying to listen
Yeah,
to like guys that are doing amazing things, and FKA Mesh especially always comes up. Like people really respect that dude. And
yeah,
he's doing amazing stuff. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So that's
yeah.
dope. Do you think Afrotech will be as popular as, or at least be half as popular as Amapiano is in SA?
That's a tricky question. Because from the gigs that I've been to, um, people love Afrotech as much as they love Amapiano. Um, and I think it's 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 just that whole thing of being able to tell as a DJ as well, when's the right time to play what. But I don't think the two can be compared in any way. They both can share the space. I mean, there's it's not um, a competition in any way. I just think that
Mm,
obviously the scene in Europe, and although I haven't been, but from a lot of the guys that I've spoken to, that who are my peers. Hey, shout out Sabta. Sabta is one of the guys that you need to look out for as well. He's gonna take over the scene. Um, there's told me a lot about the scene in Europe. In terms of Afro tech. And so from what I can tell is that in Europe the reason Afrotech blew up so much is that the 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 party scene as well is just different, compared to
mm,
ours. And you listen to the elements of Afro tech and how electronic they are. They're very electronically driven. So it only makes sense that the European scene gravitates towards it because they've been producing and making house music. Oh, they say my network is bad. Sorry about that, man. Yeah, the weather's not that great, so it's affecting the network. To get back to my point, so they've been making things like tech house, for example, which is very big. You look at festivals like I think I lost you there. Okay,
No,
you look at
I'm
festivals.
here. I'm here, bro. You just the
Oh, okay.
network is bad. Can you just maybe move around a bit there? Cause you keep
Uh,
freezing.
let's see, because my battery is also about to die. So let me see if I can't. Uh,
Okay. Can you maybe put like I don't know, put it on charge or let me know how many minutes you have left, roughly, of the battery.
is that better?
Ah, there we go. Yeah, no, you
I
did
think that's
something and then it works now.
okay. Perfect, perfect. So yeah, to my point, genres like tech house are quite big in Europe. So you listen to the elements that are in Afrotech.
Hmm.
They're very it's tech house driven. So it only made sense that they gravitate towards it. Um,
Mm.
because you look at festivals, like some of the largest festivals in the world, your Ultras, your Tomorrowland, etc. Tech house is and EDM stands out. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Hands down. So that's why it's much bigger there because of the techno influence.
Sure.
Uh, locally, we love a bit more soul in our music, is what I found. We love the chords, we love the melodies, you know. Um, we love our music a bit lighter, um, and Afrotech has that heavy sound. So, which is why you do see people gravitating towards a lot towards Amapiano because of the soulful influence that it has, you know. Um, and I think
Mm.
tempo plays a big role in South Africa. Uh, we generally enjoy the slower tempos. You know, you go to any hood and you start playing at like crazy tempos like 125, you'll see the reaction change there for a bit. You know, I've experienced this because like I
Yeah.
said, I don't box myself to a single genre. You know, I do
Yeah.
play tech house as well, but I found that it's just easier to play it at a slower tempo than it is to play it at the original tempo, because locally people want to dance. You know, South Africans
Mm.
love to dance, so you don't play music that they won't be able to dance to. That's when you
Mm.
lose, you know. So yeah,
What? I was gonna ask 120 BPM. Is that safe?
yeah, no, definitely 120 is definitely safe, especially if you're playing after my piano. 120 is the safest because anything higher is very noticeable. Look, obviously, guys, this is not set in stone. Uh, I've seen I've seen lots of DJs come in and pick up the tempo and pick up the pace at 123 from a set that was 116, you know, and that's a significant difference. But I've seen a lot of DJs do that and capture the crowd, you know,
Mm.
um, because of their track selection, number one, their style of playing, their interaction with the crowd. It just goes a long way, you know.
Mm.
So yeah, um, I've seen people do it.
You know what I find interesting? How Black Coffee is playing like Afro tech, almost like deep tech, né? But
Yeah.
for some reason,
Hey, Palisa.
he still has the South African audience
I
captured.
believe that's Soul Diva. Sorry to cut you short.
Yeah. Shout out
Yeah,
to Soul
yeah,
Diva. You know what I
yeah.
mean? So I find
Yeah.
it interesting that South Africans are very choosy when it comes to who plays a certain genre for them. So when Black Coffee plays Afro Tech or Deep Tech, yo, coffee a shy number, boy. And then when it's like someone who's not known, but oh, di mo no keletsa makgo. You know,
Ah, I, I, I,
why
look,
is that,
I,
man?
no, man. I think, look, I've seen and experienced that a few times. However, I think that it's very important as a DJ as well to know your crowd, man. You know, be able to read the crowd, know the people that you're playing for, because especially if you are still trying to build your name. Oh man, my battery's dying here. Especially when when you're still trying to build your name, it's very important to not want to be that guy that's like, because Coffee played this track, I'm gonna play it and it's gonna rock the crowd. It doesn't always work. What you need to do is you need to learn the crowd that you're playing for. You need to know who you're playing for, because not every track will work in every single crowd. You know what I mean?
Mm,
When you book Coffee, you know what to expect. Much like if you book Vinny, you know what to expect. You know what I mean?
mm,
But when you are an up and coming DJ, and not everyone knows your sound or knows, how you play, it's very important that you introduce yourself in a very strategic way. You know what I mean? Don't try and just because, like I said, Coffee played this track, it rocked the crowd, I'm gonna play it and guaranteed it'll rock the crowd. It doesn't always work, you know. So just be careful when it comes to when it comes to that kind of thing. And I just think that, um, obviously, if you expect a certain thing from someone, it's easily acceptable, because you expect it, you know what he's going to play, so it's easily acceptable, you know.
yeah, I hear you, bro. I just think that, like, in SA, this is my opinion. Like, people want to listen to songs that they already know, or I guess you're right. You have to brand yourself a certain way. But how do you start? Because now, you
Yeah,
can't. If you're gonna play for the crowd, then you sound like all the other DJs. But at the
yeah,
same time, if you play your sound, then some people will be like, this guy is weird. He's playing weird music. But I guess you're right. It's all about knowing your crowd and who to play for, and
yeah,
and that
yeah,
and that. You know what I mean? Do you
yeah,
think there'll
yeah.
be someone bigger than Black Coffee in SA?
uh you know what, I think that there is opportunity, especially because of him. There's an opportunity because the world is now looking at SA. Um, and I don't think it's even genre specific. Uh, I don't think it's genre specific at all. I think that there's potential for any artist or DJ to be on, as big as he is, purely based off of the fact that he has done it. I think that we also need to take a page out of his book, look at his journey, look at some of the things he's done, look at, some of the challenges that he's faced when he was still building his name, because a lot of people don't get that, guys. It didn't just start. He didn't just become who he is. There was a journey. He
Mm,
started back in the day, and it makes sense for him to be where he is now.
yeah,
And because of him, there's definitely opportunity for other artists, not even genre specific, to be as big as Black Coffee. I don't see it being a problem. It just means that you just need to take a page out of his book,
Hmm.
just not necessarily do what he did, but learn from it, and find your own way of doing it.
But there's never been a superstar hip hop DJ. You know that?
Oh, you mean locally?
Yeah.
Ay, Marajo,
Can you
you're so
think?
spicy.
No, Joe. Let me tell you. I
Yeah,
was talking to DJ C Live, bro, right here on
yeah,
these interview, no, that I have,
yeah, yeah,
and he was saying to me, like, bro, he said to me, think of Black Coffee, think of a hip hop DJ that's close to as successful as Black Coffee, and I was like, damn, I can't think of any hip hop DJ that's big, and I was like, that's crazy because hip hop is, you know what I mean, like it's
yeah.
has more
I
swag, you know.
I genuinely don't want to speak on the genre hip hop because I don't follow the culture as much as I follow the house culture. So I think I'd be doing the hip hop fraternity an injustice if I was to answer that question, because of the
Yes.
fact that I don't know the scene that well. Um, I think that there are a lot of guys that can do it. Um,
Mm.
my observation would be that, you know, they hip hop DJs locally, or rather artists, etc., just need to be unique, to be able to be noticed by the rest of the world. The Afro
Mm.
house genre was noticeable, especially the sound that Coffee had back when he was doing homebrewed. It was unique.
Mm-hmm.
He had very local elements in his music, and that's what made him stand out.
Mm.
So, from that's just my observation. So, I can't speak on hip hop. I honestly can't. But
There's
yeah, that's just my observation.
the house culture, né? It's
Yeah,
very interesting to me that like hip hop is very visible in the streets
mm,
when you how people dress, people are influenced by hip hop.
yeah,
When you
yeah,
listen to radio, how people speak, and
yeah,
all that, it's visible. I don't think there's a house culture. I've never seen, like it's easy to look at someone and be like, okay, that guy likes hip hop, you know. But
yeah,
it's
yeah,
you can't
yeah.
look at at a person you're like, this guy likes house. You know what I mean? So what I'm saying is there isn't really much house culture except for the music, you know. So in your
Yeah.
understanding, bro, like what is house culture?
Well, look, house culture, right? According to me, is not how you dress. It's not how you speak. Because house music, from its inception, when it started back in Chicago, was an inclusive genre. And you'll hear it in all the classic old records where they'll tell you that you could be black, you could be white, Asian, Jew, or Gentile, whatever. You could
The
be
famous
straight,
one.
lesbian, gay, etc. You could be whatever. However, you'll still be accepted in our house. And that's what house music is and always has been. So it's not about how you dress. It's not about how you speak. It's not about your sexual orientation. It's literally for the love of the genre itself. And you will always tell when there's a house head in a club. You'll always tell. It'll be that guy or girl who sings to every vocal house track, um, with their fingers pointed up or a fist, you know. You'll always see the person, you know, that okay, this is definitely a house head, you
House,
know, but
house head.
it definitely has nothing to do with aesthetics in terms of how we look.
Yeah.
However, I have noticed, you know, it is notable that a lot of house DJs are starting to brand themselves,
Mm.
which is a good thing. You know, in terms of how they dress, how they carry themselves, how they speak in interviews, etc. So they're branding themselves to be professionals. That's how I would put it. But it's not specific to, you know, I don't know, skinny jeans or baggy jeans or whatever. It's not
Yeah.
like that. Yeah,
Yeah. Uh, Anthea is saying something which is very interesting, and I also struggle with this. Ne? Like when I play
yeah.
after a DJ, ne, and then they're like, dog, can I just play two more songs? And I'm like, my G, you know, I was supposed to be on a 12. It's 10 past 12 now. Why do DJs do that, man? Like, you know your time is up, uh, but you still want to be like, ah, Joe, you know, why do
He-
DJs do that?
here's here's what I say to that. 1 hour DJ sets must fall, guys. Honestly. You know, it's always hard when okay, you start, right? You this is your first track, you're playing, cool. People are only starting to warm up to what you're playing after, let's say, the fourth track. Now,
Mm.
let's put it in terms of, let's say you're playing a very soulful house set, for example, right? That's not a
Mm-hmm.
kind of genre that you can just mega mix and mash up, etc., because you want to play the whole song. You know, you want
Mm.
people to hear the song from start uh, to end, or wherever you want to end it, where you want to mix in. So now, in a typical soulful house or deep house set, for an hour, you're looking at, you know, depending on the length of songs, you're looking at least 10 songs, you know, 10 to, yeah, let's say 10 to 9 to 10, depending on the length. So now,
Mm-hmm.
when you get to about, let's say, your sixth song, that's when you're actually getting into your set. Like, that's when you yourself are starting to feel the set, and now you have 4 tracks left. And then you
Yeah.
start to get creative, and you start thinking to yourself, you know what, there's this one track that I've been meaning to try, you know, and
Mm.
only to find you're out of time, you know. So that's how it happens. I've been a culprit of it a few times.
So you
I'm not
also,
proud of it. I'm not proud of it, trust me, but I've been a culprit, you know. But
yeah.
it's generally because you're just getting into the groove. But speaking on this thing of sets, right? I genuinely do feel like 1 hour house sets must fall, because I think we need to now offer the crowd more. Some people
Mm.
are not satisfied, you know, with an hour set. Internationally, there's guys that go and play for a good 4 hours, you know, nonstop,
Mm.
and we only doing 1 hour, and that's generally because a promoter would want to, you know, cram a lineup with like 50 people. Sometimes we play
Mm.
less than an hour. Sometimes you play 45 minutes because they're trying to get you. They're trying to get, you know, and a host of other DJs, you know,
Mm.
into, let's say, 8 to 6 hours sometimes. So that's
Mm.
where the issue lies. Where internationally, guys go and perform for a good 4 hours, man, and that's where people really get to hear your sound, your creativity, and how you mix, your track selection, you know, your interaction with them. And I think that we need
Mm.
that more locally. I really do think that we need them more locally.
Do you think that we have too many DJs in South Africa?
I don't know. I don't think so. What's too many? What constitutes too
You're
many?
the first.
We
You're
have a
the
lot.
you're the first.
We have a lot, but what constitutes too many?
Ah,
You know
do
what I
you
mean?
think we have enough events in SA?
Events, we have gatherings. We don't have events.
What's the difference?
Look, okay, look, for example, you go to a Shisanyama on a weekend, guaranteed you'll get a lineup. But that's not an actual event with an experience. That's just entertainment for the day. Um, and I know a lot of people consider that events, but that's not really events. When my thinking, an event is where there's an experience. Whether it be, I don't know, lasers on from the ultra main stage, and pyrotechnics and all of that. um, but an experience, something that
Yeah.
people can immerse themselves in. Uh, but
Mm,
going to your local Chisanyama and having a lineup of DJs is not really an event, man. You know,
mm,
because the same thing's gonna happen next week and the following week and the following week. You know, so we don't have
mm,
a lot of events like properties that are specifically for like house music. And
mm,
it's like all genres of house. Most of the time, it's a mixture of everything. You'll get the guy that will play your old school hip hop. You'll get the guy that will play amapiano. You'll get the guy that will play deep house when the gates open at 12 p.m., which is sad for me.
yeah.
That must stop, guys. After Corona, we're stopping that. Seriously. Deep house must also play
Mm.
late. But we don't have a lot of those kinds of events, in SA.
Maybe there's an opportunity for us to create those events. Deep house events where when you go there, or not even deep house, it's
Yeah.
just house events. You know what I
Ooh,
mean?
what did I miss?
But
Yeah.
y-
Yeah.
are you commenting on your own life?
Hey, I pressed it by mistake, yeah. and it's a
That's
weird character.
yeah. That's that's gangster, dude. Yeah, man. And bro, like a lot is happening. What do you think this situation, like the coronavirus situation, the impact that it's gonna have on DJs and to the music industry?
uh, I always like to see the silver lining in everything. I always like to remain positive. Um, I strive, or rather, I always like to think of myself as a positive thinker. Um,
Mm,
I really don't like negativity at all. Even in negative situations, I always like to see the positive. And I think that the positive in this entire situation is that people now are paying attention. You are no longer fighting for attention with, uh, you know, uh, I don't know, people posting, selfies from neighbor goods market, whatever. People now have time to actually sit, listen to whatever music you're putting out, listen to whatever live streams you're doing, whatever music you're playing. People are now noticing. People have the
mm,
time to notice and say, "Oh, okay, I've been sleeping on this guy for some time now," only to find
mm,
out I know this man is talented. He plays the kind of music I could definitely jam to. I mean, it's it's so weird, but I've been getting people saying to me, after this lockdown, I want to come to more of your gigs, and this is
mm,
comments that come after either a live set I did on YouTube or whatever, on social media or even on radio, and people say that
Mm.
was dope. I think I want to come to more of your gigs after this lockdown. That's because people are
So,
noticing more, you know. So this is the time that any artist, DJ, producer uh, needs to take advantage of and make people listen, you know. Put your tracks out
yeah.
and make sure people follow that link, you know, make sure they listen. They have time now. They've been encouraged to just sit, you know.
Yeah.
So I think this is the right time for people to be putting out all kinds of music, um, to be putting out their work, mixtapes, etc. I've been getting guys inboxing me looking for advice, and I said to them, right now, this is the time. Yeah, no, you're definitely right. At Real Shandapal, um, people need to capitalize, you know. Uh, he's asking a question. What's your take on radio presenters now capitalizing on becoming a DJ? Some places are booking them simply because for radio advertisement, the time the person can't even mix. Eish.
Yeah.
um, I haven't experienced that. But okay, my take on that to answer your question would be um from a business owner's perspective, someone who owns an outlet. I own whether it's a club or a pub, lounge, etc. I want the name of my establishment out there, right?
Mm.
Now we all know that radio, TV, etc. are the best dissemination of information. So if a Kinetic can get your establishment's name on whatever radio station's gig guide, you know, he's worth booking because he's not just there to play music, but he's also a marketing tool for you. So I know that it's very frustrating for a lot of guys who don't have those platforms, but are just as good as people who are on those platforms, if not even better. I know it's frustrating for them, but it's something that I also came to realize, you know, within this journey that you have to be able to provide more for an outlet or even a promoter, you know, because there are a lot of very dope unknown guys. However, you know, a promoter requires promotion for the event or for
Mm.
their place, etc.
It's
And
for,
that's what
yeah.
it boils down to. You know, it's business. So yeah, that's how it happens, man.
Yeah, there's less than a minute remaining. Your name, Blue. What's up? Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah.
There's less than a minute remaining, bro. So anything that you would like to mention before we end the chat? Like, are you gonna be dropping any music soon? Like, what's your thing? Oh, Prof. What's up, Prof?
Is that Prof? Hey, I go
Oh
back
yeah,
with this
yeah.
homie.
Why are you calling yourself Name Blue? Hey, Prof.
Hey, I go back with this homie.
Prof is actually also
Hey,
also also is releasing music. Prof,
I saw,
bro, I'm
yeah.
gonna bro, I listened to your stuff for 2 minutes and then I got interrupted, man, but it sounded dope. Today I'm gonna listen and I'm gonna give you feedback, bro. Yeah, but
Yeah.
anyway, Kinetic, man. Yeah, there's 40 seconds remaining. What's the
Okay.
word?
Well, I am working on music. However, unfortunately, uh, just bad luck, man. My computer crashed.
Fish.
Uh, yeah, so I'm in the process of trying to fix that, but unfortunately, getting SSD hard drives is not an essential. It's
Yeah.
not an essential thing. So I'm gonna have to wait for the lockdown to come to an end, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try get my machine back up and running because I have projects that are sitting waiting to be released.